Alright, so just a quick little update video on the progress on my Tesla coil. So here's the power supply. That's the one that we went over in a previous video. As you can see, it's now completely finished. It's painted. It has a proper label here on the top now, where you can see the current ratings and voltage ratings, and a schematic for the thing as well. Then, if we go on the back here a bit, you can see we have the bushings, and they're properly labeled, so these are the low voltage bushings for the input. So you have live and neutral, which should be here. Then these here are the tap for switching between the ballasted and unballasted modes. And you can also see the voltages and stuff you get up there. This here is a new addition. It's the center tap for the high voltage side of the mods, since I'm using 2 mods. I figured it's going to be nice to maybe be able to split the voltage that I'm getting out of this transformer. And also added handles, so you can actually lift this thing, because it weighs about 30 pounds, and it's pretty obnoxious to lift without these, since you don't actually have anything to grab on. And, well, you have these, but you're not supposed to lift high voltage equipment by its bushings. So, that's about it for the transformer itself. Now, go down here. You can see I've been working a little bit on the base, and I know my floor looks like an absolute mess, but I figured I'll do something about that once I'm actually finished. So here's the base. You have the power input for the coil right there. You have the control input right there. Then you have the 2 control relays, one for the fan and one for the transformer. That will be used to turn them on and off, because I want to be able to run the fan and the transformer separately. The fan, it's this fan right here. It's to cool the spark gap and also blow away the ionized air from between the electrodes, since it's a static spark gap. And let's see, they have electrodes right there. Then have a capacitor. That's primary capacitance. And yeah, that's about it. The transformer isn't going to go in this space here. So I have everything wired and set up, so we can actually test the controls right now. Figure we're gonna do that and make sure that it actually works. Okay, so we have the thing plugged in. Here's the control box. It's nothing fancy, it's just a junction box basically that I put 2 buttons in. And then I have the cables running up the front here. These are just normal lamp cords that I used because they're pretty cheap and they come in a pretty good length. It's about a 10-meter length in a package, so since I'm using 2 per button, it gives me about a 5-meter distance that I can stand from the coil when I'm turning it on. So that's pretty good. Now, the way I've set it up right now is the left button. It's to control the fan, so let me stand here in a way that you can actually see how this all works. So, when I push this button, if you look on the left relay, you should be able to see it switch. And there you go. The fan is now running, and these buttons have lights, because I want it to be fancy. So, when I push it again, when it turns off, as you can see, those are toggle relays, so they don't actually need a constant power supplied to them in order to stay in a certain position, which is kind of why I decided to use these. These came out of an old building. They were used for controlling the lights in there, so I saved them because I know it's old technology, it looks cool, and now I actually have a use for them. So, 1 pulse turns it on, another pulse turns it off. Then this other button right here is to control the power, and it's done by this other bigger relay, and click it, turns on, and right now I'm just using a small light as a placeholder for the transformer, and you click it again, it turns off. So, if you can see the whole process. There you go. And I personally just I don't know about you, but I just really love the sound of switching relays. It never gets old, just like the sound of electrical arcs. So yeah, I'll probably be playing around with this quite a while. Anyway, as for right now, I do have quite a bit of cable management to do, because currently that looks like a pot of noodles and looks horrible. So I'll need to clean that up a bit and make it look nicer, and once I'm done with that, I guess we can do the wiring on the high voltage side. Basically gonna have from the transformer into the capacitor, into the spark gap, into the primary coil. There we go, it's much better already. So basically what I did, I just put some paper tape around these wires, and I grouped them together depending on what they go to. So the only thing I can see that I need to do is maybe put some, like a thin coat of varnish on them, because this tape is probably gonna start coming apart once the glue has dried. So it's not very good. But other than that, the whole control system is finished. I'll just put the light up here, as you can see. Figure it will be kind of neat, so I actually kept it. And it's connected in parallel with the fan. It's just tapping off and coming up into here. So other than that, I've put some labels here if my autofocus wants to work. It does not. 1 second. There we go. So you see I have labels on the wires now. So these are the two for the light and the button, and then these are actually signal wires. And then so main would be the transformer, and auxiliary would be the fan and the light. So what's left to do now is get the transformer in here, hook up the high voltage side, and then put the primary coil and the whole assembly up on top here. So I'll see you back in a second once that's done. And there we go. We have a light, we have power, and I think we're done here for today. So the next step would be to make the top load. I have it right here. It's about, well, it's half finished. I still need to coat the other half off with tape and figure out a way to actually put it on. But that's gonna be for a different video. So until then, have fun and stay safe.